Yeah, Spence got beef with my coach. What's good? Come see me. You want to sue him? I want to beat you up.
Yo, facts.
Facts, bro. Do. Knock out Errol. Nice. Buddy, bro. Let's fight all of them at the same time.
Training been going great. I'm ready to fight, ready to put on a great show. A one-sided ass beating.
Errol Spence has immediately sent back fiery words to Ryan Garcia after he trolled him on social media.
What's Errol been up to, man?
Fuck Errol.
What?
Yeah, fuck Errol.
Both fighters have seen their relationship get worse in recent months due to the involvement of Derrick James. And after he's been sued by Derrick James, Errol Spence is ready for whatever comes at him, including a fight against Ryan Garcia. Before his statement win against Devin Haney, what we all saw from Ryan Garcia were antics and inconsistent displays that could be likened to one with an intense mental illness. In fact, many of his friends and even foes advised him from going ahead with the match, as it threatened not only his boxing career, but his life as a whole. However, after the bout, Ryan Garcia has dumped the tricks, and he's been relishing every moment of what is evidently the highest point of his career. He's done this by showing up in interviews, clubs, and living his very best moments, but surely not without trolls for those deserving of it. He has fired his shots at Bill Haney, Devin Haney, and even referee Harvey Dock.
Some money. That's fucked up. It's all business, but still, at the end of the day, some fucked shit up. How I pay him more on a fight I made less? The fuck?
But while he was brief about the others, he seemed to be more settled on Errol Spence Jr., and now Errol Spence Jr. has fired back at Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia had earlier suggested a possible matchup between him and Errol Spence on a post on X, formerly Twitter. Wait, RG versus Errol would be crazy. Nah, you all want that? Let me hear you. However, Errol Spence Jr. hasn't been the only boxer he's made such advances at. Before finally jumping to Errol Spence Jr., he had spoken about fighting Sebastian Fundora during his post-fight conference and Conor Benn on a post on X. During his post-fight press conference, he revealed his plans to go up in weight, and Garcia had at least one name in mind for a future opponent, although he's not cemented on anything just yet. I had a vision to fight Sebastian Fundora at 154 pounds, Garcia said. I don't know why, I just feel I could knock him out. I know that's really random. I just feel like I could get the title at 154. I've fought guys that big before and I've knocked them out in sparring. Cold slept them. I want to do it. Shout out Fundora, no disrespect. And on the same night, Garcia received a congratulatory message from Ben on X, who expressed a willingness to face Flash or Haney next. Conor Benn tweeted, "Great performance from Garcia, I called it. Credit to Devin Haney for getting up off the floor 3 times. I will fight any of these guys." Surprisingly, Ryan Garcia agreed. Garcia then fired back by suggesting he and Ben box at the O2 Arena before aiming a violent threat at the Brit. He replied, "Let's run it in London at the O2. I will fracture your spleen and then eat it. Shout out London." Ben then responded, "Don't be another loudmouth like Gervumpa Lumpa if you are really about it. Let's do it next and I will smash your teeth down your neck. You wanker." However, Ryan Garcia retorted with a troll, "You know I'm about the business, but you can't even fight in your own country. What the hell?" However, Ryan Garcia and Errol Spence's fight isn't just for boxing-related reasons, as they have an underlying issue yet to be resolved, and Ryan Garcia made this known in his most recent video, where he trolled Errol Spence Jr. and promised him a knockout. In the video, Ryan Garcia, hyped up for a prospective clash, said, "Yeah, Spence got beef with my coach, yes, what's good, come see me. You wanna sue him, I wanna beat you, facts bro." He then continued, making a rhythmic sound to taunt his foe before continuing, "Knock out Errol, nice, damn it. Let's fight all of them at the same time? We'll see what happens. What if I pull that off though? 2 volts 1? O'Malley and Errol Spence Jr. at one time?"
Yeah, Spence got beef with my coach. What's good? Come see me. You want to sue him? I want to beat you up.
Yo, facts.
Facts, bro. Do. Knock out Errol. Nice. Buddy, bro. Let's fight all of them at the same time.
And to this, Errol Spence Jr. has sent Ryan Garcia a 10-word reply. "We make the match happen. Fools die on that day."
Training been going great. I'm ready to fight, ready to put on a great show. A one-sided ass beating.
Evidently, Errol Spence isn't running from a possible matchup against Ryan Garcia and has gone as far as telling Garcia he's capable of ending him, calling him a fool for yelling his name everywhere. But before we go deeper into Errol Spence's retort, let's remember that he and Ryan Garcia were never always like this, and from Garcia's response, he mentioned a beef between his coach and Terrence Crawford. Let's take a step backwards to see where it all began. Following his first career defeat against Gervonta Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia was deserted and left alone during his post-fight press conference. Seemingly apoplectic and in stunned disbelief that Davis was the better man, the 24-year-old vowed to not only return a better fighter, but to also make sweeping changes. Just a few days after stomaching the first loss of his career, Garcia canned his now former trainer, Joe Goossen. His search for a new lead man in his corner spanned several weeks. And while rumors circulated that he would make amends with Eddie Reynoso, the California native opted to go in another direction. With a bevy of trainers to choose from, Garcia officially decided that Derrick James was the right man for the job. The 2022 BWAA Trainer of the Year has a long list of notable fighters and champions at his disposal, most notably Errol Spence Jr., the former unified welterweight champion, Jermell Charlo, the ring's junior middleweight titleist, Frank Martin, a highly ranked lightweight contender, and Anthony Joshua, the former unified heavyweight champion of the world. Garcia's decision to join James's Texas stable ostensibly wasn't just his own. In a post on his social media account, it appeared as though the wildly popular star sought the blessing and approval of Spence before taking the plunge. "Thank you to Derrick James and Errol Spence Jr. for allowing me to join the team," wrote on a social media post after bringing Derrick James on board as his new trainer. Although the 2024 is relatively young, James has already helped one of his fighters to a popular statement victory over a month ago. Joshua, following back-to-back defeats at the hands of Alexander Usyk, ditched his old coach and teamed up with James. As a tandem, the two picked up a relatively mind-blowing second-round knockout victory against Francis Ngannou earlier this year. From afar, Garcia has always revered James and what he brings to the table. In another post to his social media account, the flamboyant luminary was spotted standing face-to-face with his newly found trainer, soaking in knowledge with Spence standing by his side. Though he opted to take things slow while fully grasping James's offensive and defensive philosophies, Garcia appeared delighted to saunter through a jam-packed arena with his world-renowned trainer shouting instructions from the sidelines, as we saw in his big win against Devin Haney. Evidently, Errol Spence Jr. was involved in the relationship between Derrick James and Ryan Garcia, and as such, he and Ryan Garcia had a decent relationship as well. In fact, Ryan Garcia admitted that he has paid Errol Spence $20,000 following Gervonta Davis's stoppage win against Rolly Romero last year. The talented, friendly pair sat ringside for the fight, and after disagreeing who would win the contest, the fighters shook hands on a wager with Spence taking Tank, while Garcia backed Romero. For brief portions of the contest, it appeared that Garcia was on his way to collecting his winnings from the current unified welterweight world champion, but the fight was over courtesy of one shot from Davis in round 6.
What's the bet? What's the bet? What's the bet?
20K I got on Rollies, he got on Tank. Yeah. Okay.
No, don't play with me.
I'll pay you shit tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And in an interview, Ryan Garcia was quick to address that the bet has been settled. "I paid him for the bet we made. It was a gentleman's handshake," revealed Garcia when speaking in an interview. "I should have taken odds as I would have got better odds with a bookie, but it's fine. I was a man of my word, but I really believed he, Romero, could win that fight, and he showed me why. He now owes me half of that." Undoubtedly, Ryan Garcia and Errol Spence Jr. got on well. But things got bad after Errol Spence Jr. relieved Derrick James off his duties as his trainer, following his embarrassing loss to Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford made history, becoming the first unified welterweight champion in the history of the 4 major belt era with a 9th round TKO win over Errol Spence Jr. last year. Crawford added Spence's World Boxing Association, World Boxing Council, and International Boxing Federation titles to his own World Boxing Organization crown. The knockout victory marked Crawford's 11th consecutive finish, with 9 of them now coming in the 6th round or later. This, however, was the most impressive of them all, as Crawford put on a boxing masterclass to practically dominate the fight from the moment he dropped Spence in the 2nd round.
Start to go toe-to-toe. There's a big left by Crawford, backing up Spence, and digging to the body. Spence is hurt. Spence is hurt.
So Floyd might be able to tell us he's stumbling and he hasn't been hit, and that's up after this fight.
That was an unfamiliar position for Spence, who had not previously been dropped once in his accomplished career. By the end of the fight, he had gone down 3 separate times, a similar story as Devin the Dream Haney, who was dropped thrice en route to the very first loss of his career.
Spence for the 3rd time in the fight at the end of the 7th.
Crawford is just a special fighter. All right.
Crawford finished the fight landing a stunning 60% of his power shots and 42% of his jabs. His 87 landed jabs were the most by a Spence opponent. I only dreamed of being a world champion. I'm an overachiever. Nobody believed in me when I was coming up, but I made everyone a believer, Crawford said post-fight. I want to thank Spence and his team like I told him. Without him, none of this would be possible for me here tonight, he added. It means everything because of who I took the belts from. They tried to blackball me, they kept me out, they talked bad about me, they said I wasn't good enough. I couldn't beat these top welterweights, I just kept my head to the sky. I just kept praying to God that I could get the opportunity to show the world how great Terrence Crawford is, and tonight I believe I showed how great I am. Crawford certainly showed how great his jab is, with Mike Tyson describing it as a battering ram that continued to connect and pressure Spence back throughout the fight. He's a tremendous talent. He's got a great jab, Crawford added of Spence. We were worried about the jab coming in because that's how he set up all his shots. Our main focus was the jab. You take away his best attribute and the rest is history. Now Crawford has written his name in the history books, and while he will now take a well-deserved rest, attention quickly turned post-fight as to whether Spence will ask for a rematch. Hell yeah, we've got to do it again. I'll be a lot better, Spence said, adding he still plans to move up to the light middleweight division and compete at 154 pounds. Crawford was on board with that idea too, telling reporters fighting at 147 pounds was kind of hard for him too, and that moving up wouldn't be out of reach. He was the better man tonight, Spence added of Crawford. He was using his jab, dictating his jab. My timing was a little bit off, and he was catching me in between shots. I wasn't surprised by his speed or his accuracy. It was everything I thought. My timing wasn't on point. The fight opened with Spence dictating terms and pressuring early, while Crawford cautiously and cleverly sat back, picking his moments to counter like he did late in the first round. While there were no major moments for either fighter, Spence overreached on one occasion and Crawford was quick to counter with a strong left hand. It was just a glimpse of the kind of chess match that was expected in the early rounds, with Crawford known as more of an intentional slow starter and Spence likelier to try to set the pace. Spence was able to do just that some more in the second with a combination of his movement, consistent jab, and relentless pressure causing problems. But a straight left power jab from Crawford saw Spence suddenly drop for the first time in his career in the final moments of the second round. Crawford saw the opportunity. He did damage and put him down, Abner Mayer said in commentary.
It's hurt, so Floyd might be able to tell us he's stumbling and he hasn't been hit, and that's up after this fight because he's from a litany of angles. And here comes Spence though as Crawford and
Crawford's power started to really tell in the fourth round as a big overhand left and series of brutal jabs landed and hurt Spence, continuing an incredible start for the 35-year-old. That carried over into the fifth too, with Crawford once again backing Spence up with his accuracy, speed, and textbook counterpunching. Making it look way too easy, Mauro Ranallo said in commentary. The accuracy, the punishment, Errol Spence going down for the first time in his career twice. In the end, it was a matter of when and not if the fight would end, with Crawford dropping Spence another 2 times before sealing a TKO victory in the 9th round.
It's something I got to talk to my management about, but hopefully it's at 154.
How was this particular weight cut? Was it a very difficult one, or did you feel at ease with the weight cut?
I mean, it's always different.
One of the most stupendous performances I have seen in a boxing ring in a long, long time, Ronaldo said. It was a virtuoso performance, one of the best I have ever seen. Following Errol Spence's loss to Crawford, the boxer parted ways with his trainer, Derrick James, and the two no longer work together. Following the match where Spence was dropped 3 times before getting stopped in round 9, James was criticized for not doing enough in the corner as Crawford became the first undisputed welterweight champion of the 4-belt era. James was working with Anthony Joshua and Ryan Garcia, indicating he could not give Spence his full attention. And the rematch with Crawford never happened, as James and Spence went their way. Now it appears the disharmony has continued, as the trainer filed a lawsuit on April 17th in Dallas County, Texas, demanding damages of at least $5 million. The lawsuit alleged James found Spence's breach of contract, fraudulent business practices, and misrepresentations after Spence received the $25 million guaranteed fight purse for the Crawford fight. It is alleged James was only paid $350,000. However, James's camp stated he was entitled to 10% of the total revenue from the fight purse and PPV money. Spence stated there was a conversation between him and James. It happened on February 13th, claiming he told James he was not entitled to receive 10% of his guaranteed purse. Spence asserted someone named Al told him that paying James $350,000 for the Crawford fight in exchange for his training services was a generous. James's attorney stated no one named Al was present when James and Spence originally entered into their agreement. Any alleged reliance by Spence on advice from someone named Al regarding James's compensation is misplaced. The lawsuit stated Spence told James in a February 15th phone call that he did rob James. He also allegedly said in a text message that he wanted to own up to his own up and pay James the remaining $2.15 million that kept with their verbal agreement. Well, the money never came, as both sides are now in court. Spence has yet to comment on this publicly. And this exactly was what didn't go down well with Spence's former stablemate Ryan Garcia. Despite being stablemates under trainer Derrick James before Spence fought Terrence Crawford, Garcia has shown zero loyalty since a split. Spence has moved on to a new coach, though it's yet to be formally announced, leaving James to focus on Garcia's battle with Haney before Garcia's win. However, Garcia gave Spence a dose of his newfound truism by claiming the truth went into the Crawford pay-per-view on a substance he didn't name. "You folded. You didn't want to pay him some money," he told Spence on a social media space. "It's all business, but still, I paid him more for a fight I made less than Errol against Crawford, and he's been with you his whole career. How did I pay Derrick more than you in a fight I made less?"
What's Errol been up to, man?
Errol.
He ain't with Derrick James no more.
Yeah, exactly. You ain't Derrick James. You. You folded. You didn't want to pay him some money. That's up. All business, but still, at the end of the day, some up.
Errol was high as hell. The guy couldn't even form a sentence. Garcia quickly lost business friends with his continued mission to out those he doesn't get along with. Haney was his first target before several others came into play during his rants, and now Ryan Garcia is setting his sights on a potentially career-defining fight against former unified welterweight champion Errol Spence Jr. following his victory over Devin Haney. After last Saturday night, where Garcia triumphed in a match that boosted his record to 25-1 with 20 knockouts. The win has fueled speculation and excitement about his next steps in the boxing world. Garcia floated the idea of facing Spence next, querying his social media followers for their thoughts. The response was overwhelmingly positive, pointing to a high level of public interest in such a matchup. Errol Spence, who has 28 wins in 29 bouts, including 22 knockout wins, represents a formidable challenge. Known for his power and relentless pressure in the ring, Spence would test Garcia's ability to compete at a higher weight class. The potential bout would likely take place at 154 pounds, as Spence has recently moved up from welterweight. This move came after his challenging fight against Terrence Crawford, which ended in a 9th-round knockout for Spence last July, following a 17-month hiatus. Moving up to 154 pounds could be a risky strategy for Garcia in his first fight in the junior middleweight division, An alternative could be a catchweight bout at 150 pounds, but even this poses significant risks without prior experience against other fighters in this category. Despite these challenges, the financial and professional rewards for Garcia could be substantial, given his popularity and the high profile of a fight against Spence. Beyond the possible fight with Spence, Ryan Garcia faces pressure to prove himself against other top fighters at 147 pounds, such as IBF champion Jaron Boots Ennis.
Yeah, Spence got beef with my coach. What's good? Come see me. You want to sue him? I want to beat you up.
Yo, facts.
Facts, bro. Do. Knockout Errol. Nice. Buddy, bro. Let's fight all of them at the same time.
Engaging with fighters of this caliber could solidify Garcia's reputation and earnings potential in a fiercely competitive division. However, with Spence's recent physical challenges, including injuries from car crashes and the visible effects of ring wear, some suggest that Garcia should spend more time acclimating to the welterweight division before taking on high-caliber opponents. As Garcia navigates these decisions, the boxing world watches eagerly, anticipating his next move and how it will impact his trajectory in the sport. A fight against Errol Spence Jr. could either be a stepping stone to greater glory or a misstep in an otherwise promising career. The narrative of the fight looks impressive since they both train together and are fully aware of each other's game. The fight would generate a big audience now that Garcia is seen as the face of boxing. And that's all for now on the friends who have now become foes because of a trainer. If you enjoyed watching this video, kindly react by clicking the like button below. For the very best updates, news, moments, and events in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications to get alerted when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.